Welcome back, muse makers. Today we're going to be doing a lovely lizard painting tutorial. My paints today are white, black, blue, green, yellow, and red. I have some mixing plates to mix up all my colors, something with some water in it to wash my brushes off, some paper towels, and 3 different types of brushes. Today I'm working with a large square flat brush for my background. I have a medium flat brush that's sort of round at the edge. And then I also have one small pointy brush for fine details. Now, first thing we're going to do is mix up our background colors. We're going to be mixing up 3 different types of greens, and then we're going to be drawing out the shape of our lizard and then filling in our background. So first we want to make sure we grab our mixing plate and our large square flat brush and making sure it's nice and dry. We're going to start with our lightest color, which is a lime green. I'm going to be starting off with 1 scoop of white, 1 scoop of yellow, and a small touch of green, and mix those up to create a lime green. Very nice, very nice. You can clean off your brush for the next color if you want. It's not necessary. Next color is just going to be our straight green from our palette, so I'm just going to separate it from our palette and put it onto this plate. And then I'm going to be making a separate pile with that same green and making it darker with a little bit of yellow and a little bit of black. And mix, mix, mix. So now we have 3 different types of greens, our light, our medium, and our dark. Then we're going to be taking our small pointy brush in the darkest green that we've created, and we're first going to etch out the shape of our lizard. So starting in the top left hand corner, we're going to be drawing sort of like a U shape or a rainbow shape that's slightly squared at the end. This is where the mouth of our lizard is going to be. So dotting where I'm starting, then drawing a line across, and then 2 diagonal lines out from there that are about like 2 inches, 3 inches long. We're then going to curve those lines inward a little bit to where the neck of our lizard is going to be. So curving those in just a touch, and it sort of resembles a lava lamp shape, if you will. From there, we're going to draw the body. So starting on the left hand side, we're going to curve in towards the middle, then back out towards the bottom left hand corner, curve under, and we're going to swirl this line into where the tail is going to be. Try to keep the swirl not too tight. That way we have room for the other side of the tail to be met with that line. So this lovely swirl shape here. Then we're going to start on the other side of the body, and we're going to mimic the same line that we just did, but make sure it's nice and wide in the center of the body where our lizard's belly is. Curve under, curve around, and we want it to be really, really thin where the tail is and have a nice point at the end of the tail. Now that is the basic shape for our lizard. We're going to add the feet on later. Right now we're going to be working on our background. So I'm going to be taking my big square brush, maybe even your medium brush if you have a better time working with it. Take this dark green paint, and we're going to be painting this along the outside edge of the shape of the body of our lizard. Make sure it's nice and thick, and we're mimicking the shape of it, right? So you can see I'm following the lines, the curves, all that fun jazz. And again, if you have a hard time painting with this big brush in the small nooks and crannies towards like the tail area, feel free to grab that medium brush or small brush if needed. Now we're also going to be throwing a couple random lines of this dark green throughout the rest of our background, still kind of keeping with the curves of the shape of our lizard, but this will help to blend in with the other colors that we put on afterwards. Next, I'm going to take my brush. You can get it clean if you want to, but I don't really care about getting it clean. I'm going to be taking some straight green paint and filling in all the gaps in between where the dark green is and the white is in our background. Feel free to even have the colors blend a little bit wherever they touch. They'll blend if your darker green is still wet. Next, we're going to be taking our medium brush in that lime green that we mixed up, and we're going to be throwing lines of this throughout our background, again keeping with the curve of the brush strokes that we put in with the darker green and the medium green. We want them to blend with the greens that we put down beforehand. This is just to help lighten it up in some areas and give our background some more texture. Now we're going to be mixing up the shade for our body of our lizard. So with our medium brush, getting it nice and clean, we're going to be mixing up an orange with a nice big scoop of yellow, a tiny scoop of red, maybe even a small touch of white just to thicken up this color. And we're looking for a nice deep pumpkin orange. With this, we're going to fill in all the parts of our lizard from the head down to the center of the body. So starting at the tip of the face, and then we're going to be stopping halfway down the body. Then we're going to be grabbing just a little bit of red paint on the tip of our brush, and we're going to be throwing the red right underneath of the orange and slowly working up into the orange to have them blend together. You want to have a nice gradient so that it looks like it gradually goes from orange to red and there's no blunt lines in the middle. Once you have them blended together, then you're going to fill the rest of the body with that red paint. Should be semi-dry by now, so I'm going to be working on the feet with my small pointy brush. We're going to be mixing up a light yellow color with some yellow and white paint mixed together. Now for the basic shape of our legs and our feet and toes and whatnot, we're going to be drawing a couple of lines and then thickening it up. So starting with the first leg, the top right leg, I should say. Top right leg, we're going to be drawing sort of an L shape and then having 4 fingers come off of that, and on the end of each finger there's going to be a little dot for the little pads that the lizards have to stick onto whatever they're crawling on. Once you have the basic shape for your leg, then you're going to thicken up the area where it touches the body and then a little bit of the part where it touches the fingers. Make sure the thickest part is the part that's touching the body. Then we're going to repeat these steps to do the top left leg and then the 2 bottom legs as well. Next, we're going to be adding some more fun texture to our background. So with a clean, small, pointy brush, we're going to grab a scoop of white and a small scoop of green, maybe even a small touch of yellow. Make this grassy green shade. We're going to collect it all in a nice little pile, and then what we're going to do is actually use the handle side of our brush. So you just flip it around, use the butt, and you just poke the green paint that we have created, and we're going to be poking dots all over our background. Next, with a clean brush, we're going to be taking some white paint and drawing a circle around most, but not all, of these circles that we have dotted in. So just a little circle, and they don't have to be perfect. They can be very painterly. Some are going to be thicker, some are going to be thinner and whatnot. But we're going to be putting circles around most, again most, not all. White paint, we're going to be adding 2 big eyes to our lizard. The bigger the eyes, the cuter it will look. Next, we're going to be creating the blue that are going to be the stripes for our lizard. So with a big scoop of blue and just a little bit of white, we create this nice medium blue shade. And we're going to be drawing sort of like little triangles or little spikes that slightly curve in towards the body. So I'm going to start over here on the left side. I draw a little triangle, another triangle. You can see the ones that are in the middle of the body are a lot longer, a lot bigger. And then my last one's going to be around the bottom foot, or maybe even just past the bottom foot. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, but the opposite way. Once you have them all drawn in, then you can go and fill each one up with that blue. Next up, we're going to be taking some white paint on a clean pointy brush and just adding a few lines of white within the arms, the fingers, and the toes of our lizard. Next, we're going to be taking the white and we're going to be outlining the outside edge of the head and the body, and also the tail. It's all one, but we're going to outline it all with that white paint. With that white paint, we're also going to be outlining each of those blue stripes that we put in. And lastly, with the white paint, we're going to be adding 2 little nostrils to the end of the face, just 2 little dots that are right next to each other. Now we want to add in the pupils for our lizard. So I'm going to be taking some black paint. I actually put some black paint also into the nostrils of our lizard as well, but 2 little dots that are just in the center of each of the eyes. Now the last step is taking black paint and just outlining the outside of each eye. And with that, that's the last and final step, and we've created a fun lizard painting. If you would love to sign your painting at the end, that is just to claim that it's yours. You should be proud of your artwork. And we'd love to see what you're painting at home. Feel free to post it on social media and tag us at muse_paintbar so we can check them out. And if you want to see more from our channel, make sure you like and subscribe. And with that, don't forget to always paint outside the lines.